we are going to get started, and let's start in a cross-legged easy seat position. And you can bring your hands to heart center if you'd like. You can bring your hands to the top of your knees with your palms down for grounding. And if you need more energy this morning, flip your palms up and rest the back of your hands on your knees. And feel free to close your eyes if you're comfortable with that. If you're not, you can leave them open. Always do what feels good for you in our practices. I'm just a guide. Nothing that I say has to be done. So modify as necessary throughout this practice. And so today I wanted to focus on building a flow that had postures that could help us alleviate some stress. And I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of stress kind of starts or is exasperated by your digestive health. So our postures today focus on a lot of rinsing and digestive nature, if you will. If we think of the chakra system, there's 7 chakras. They go from the top of the head down to the base of the core, the base of the spine. And the 3 that our flow is heavily focused on today is our sacral chakra, which is, it has a lot to do with like your being emotive, your sexual health, your root chakra, which is at the very base of your tailbone or spine, if you will, and your root chakra provides grounding. And then lastly, the solar plexus, and the solar plexus chakra really focuses on your confidence and your ability to communicate things that you're feeling or things that you would like to express. So again, a healthy digestive system is key to radiant health. Stress adversely impacts the functioning of your digestive system, and that can lead to long-term health complications. So I think it's important to try and focus on de-stressing, especially as we're going through all of these constant changes, with COVID and everything that's happening. I don't know about you guys, but I have 3 kiddos, 1 in college, 2 in high school, and the whole school situation has been quite stressful, keeps going back and forth. So I think we could all use some de-stressing. As we're moving through the practice, please also focus on deep belly breaths. That really helps release stress as well. So when I'm saying deep belly breaths, try and right now as you're taking a big inhale, fill your belly or your lower abdomen to its absolute fullest. So you should feel it expand almost like you're pregnant or you've got a nice alcohol belly. For me, that'd be a wine belly. I love wine. So again, just focus on really trying to deepen your breath throughout the practice today. So I'm going to read a quote. This is actually from my boss and her book, Feel Good, Look Good for Life. It says, your body is beautifully and divinely designed. You may feel like giving up from time to time, but that's the moment when you breathe, and then you breathe again. So let's start with some movement. If your hands are at heart center, please bring them to the tops of your knees with your palms grasping your knees lightly. We're going to do some seated cat-cows. So on an inhale, you're going to sit up tall, arch the spine, raise the head just slightly for a seated cow pose. And on an exhale, we're going to round everything, round the spine, bring the chin to the chest for cow pose. Let's repeat that. Inhale, arch the spine, bring the shoulder blades together for cow pose. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest, cat. One more time. Inhale, arching through the spine. Gaze goes slightly towards the sky. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest, cat pose. Come back to a neutral seated position, and we're just going to do a seated twist here. So taking the right hand and placing it on top of your left palm, we're just going to slowly twist to the left. Gaze goes slightly left. Try and keep a nice neutral spine so we're not arching, we're not rounding. Come back to center. And we're going to switch directions. So left palm on top of right. Gaze goes over towards the right for a seated twist in the opposite direction. And again, come back to center. Bring your bottoms of your feet to touch. So you're in a butterfly pose. And just get a little bit of movement through those knees. So you can flap your wings, if you will, wings being your legs. Getting some opening there. And with the feet still together, we're going to reach both hands forward for a seated butterfly fold. You can drop your chin to your chest. Relax the neck. We don't want tension there. And now let's hug both knees into center. So your feet come flat on the floor in front of you. You're still seated. And we're just going to drop both knees over to the right. Arms can go to the left-hand side. So another seated twist here, but double-legged seated twist. Bring those knees back to center and drop them over to the left-hand side. And back to center. And let's give ourselves a big hug. You guys made it here this morning. Awesome job. Give yourself some gratitude for being here. Release the neck, hugging everything tight. And your next inhale, come back to seated with the feet still flat on the floor. And toe heel your feet out so you're in a wider stance, if you will, with your feet on the ground. And then again, drop the torso in between the legs for one more seated fold. Nice job, you guys. Okay, let's toe heel those feet back to center. And we're going to come up off of our seat so that we are balancing on our toes. You can keep your hands on the ground if you need extra support balancing. If you would like to up level, you can take your hands off the floor, hug your knees for a balancing pose. From here, let's raise the hips to the sky. So we're moving into a forward fold, Uttanasana, forward fold. Relax the upper body. So your torso should hang heavy. There should be no tension in the neck or head. Just let everything dangle. This is one of my favorite releasing, relaxing postures. You can elect to grab opposite elbow if you'd like. You can keep the hands on the floor. Do what feels good in your body. You can shake your head from side to side. You can nod it. You can move your head in circles from right to left and then left to right. If you feel tension in your hamstrings, you might want to take a wider stance so you could toe heel your feet out to shoulder distance. That typically releases some of the tension, as well as keeping a gentle bend in those knees. Never lock out your knees in any posture. We want to keep a gentle bend, and having a generous bend is fabulous too. I typically need a generous bend. I am a runner and a skier and a hiker, so I have very tight hamstrings. If you find yourself in the same position, you might want to keep that in mind. Let's bring the palms of our hands to the base of our spine. And on your next inhale, we're going to come to a halfway lift with our palms at our spine. So this is using more core strength here. The goal in a halfway lift is to keep a flat back So you're making, I guess, an upside down L, if you will, or a half T position. And exhale, return to forward fold. If you have separated your feet, toe heel them back in so big toes come to touch. Place a slight sliver of space in between your heels. And on your next inhale, bend the knees while raising the torso to chair pose. So here you want to sit your hips back like you're sitting in an invisible chair. This is Utkatasana, chair pose. If you feel tension in your shoulders, you can bring your hands to heart center. You can bring your hands to opposite shoulders. In any posture we do, discomfort is acceptable, pain is not. So if you feel pain, step it back. Just breathe here in chair pose. If you'd like to up level, you can lift your heels off the ground for a balancing chair pose. On your next exhale, if you've lifted your heels, return them to the mat. Shift your weight into your left foot and raising your right foot off the ground, you're going to bring your right ankle or shin, place it across your thigh for a figure 4. You can keep your hands raised overhead. You can bring them to heart center. I have a plate in my ankle, so I have trouble with figure 4. It's very important for me to not place my ankle bone on my thigh, but to actually kind of move that leg over and have my shin on my thigh. And always keep a flexed foot position here. Your next exhale, return that right leg to the floor. If you need to wiggle it out, stand up, get a little movement, or you can remain in chair. We're going to switch to the opposite side and do figure 4 on the left side. So we'll be balancing on our right, shifting your weight to the right foot, lift the left leg and cross the ankle or shin bone across your right thigh. Again, remembering to sit back in that chair, that invisible chair behind you. Couple breaths here. With respect to your weight, make sure that your weight is evenly distributed between your toes and your heels. In fact, you probably want to shift your weight farther back towards the heel side of your foot. And on your next inhale, come back to standing pose. Raise your arms overhead. This is mountain pose or Tadasana. On your next exhale, bringing hands through heart center or swan diving down, we'll meet in a forward fold. On your next inhale, halfway lift. And exhale to forward fold. We're going to move through our first chaturanga, so you can step one foot at a time or hop back to plank. So that's balancing on our toes and our hands. Then bending at the elbows, keeping elbows hugged in, you're going to move down to a 90 degree, no further than 90 degree bend in the arms. Inhale, flipping over the toes, bringing the tops of the feet to the mat. Upward facing dog. And exhale, rolling over those toes one more time. We're coming to our first downward dog of the day. Wiggle this out, give your dog a walk, shake your hips side to side. I love in downward dog shifting my heels at the same time over to one side and then the next. I find I get a really great IT band and psoas stretch doing that. On your next inhale, lift the right leg towards the sky. Flex your foot here, and keeping your shoulders on an even plane, open the hip gently over towards the left. So you're stretching through the right side. But again, we really want to keep even weight between both hands, and our shoulders should be even, not tilted to one side or the other. Inhale, bring your leg back to center, three-legged dog. Exhale, bringing knee to your chest. Squeeze in tight here, knee to chest. And as you exhale, set the foot down for a low lunge. You may need to walk your foot forward and wiggle this out here. Get some movement through the leg. You can straighten and bend. On your next inhale, we'll meet in a low lunge, and we're going to lift the left arm towards the sky for a lunge twist. Just the left arm will go towards the sky. Everything else remains the same. So you can open your chest as well. Beautiful. Exhale, returning the hand to the floor. And inhale, stabilizing through both feet. We're going to rise to crescent lunge. So bring your arms towards the sky. Give your feet a check here. Make sure that you're not in one plane with your feet, that you're on separate railroad tracks. Keep a gentle bend in that left leg. If you feel any pressure in your lower back, give a generous bend in that left leg. From here, we're going to move into warrior one. So you're going to drop that back foot. You're going to spin it to a 45-degree angle. And again, keeping a generous bend in that front right knee, and you may need to bend your back knee a little bit as well. The goal here in warrior one, and this is pretty much anatomically impossible, is to have both hips pointed straight forward. So make sure that you're doing your best to keep those hips pointed forward like they're two headlights on a car. Inhale here. And as you exhale, we're going to open to warrior two. So you're going to spin the back foot to be parallel with the short edge of your mat for our first warrior two. Again, you can surf in and out of this warrior two. This is your first warrior two of the day. Take a quick glance at your toes on that front right foot. Make sure you can see them, that they're not underneath your knee. We want to always keep our knees safe in our practice. Breathe here. Reaching towards the front of the room with your right hand, we're going to come to side angle. So reach, reach, reach like you're being pulled by someone. And when you cannot reach any further, tick-tock those arms to 6 and 12. Elongating through both sides of the spine, not just your right side or left side, both of them at the same time. So keep space in between those ribs. From here, we're going to slowly straighten the right knee and come into triangle pose. Again, remembering not to lock out those knee joints completely. Even that front right knee should have a slight bend to it. It shouldn't be locked out. On your next inhale, we're going to bend the front knee, bring the arms back to warrior two, and move into reverse warrior. Reaching the right arm high towards the sky, lightly resting your left hand on the back thigh. Again, keeping length in between our side bodies on both sides. Let's return to warrior two here. And we're going to cartwheel the arms down and move through chaturanga or nataranga, should you choose. There is no law that says you have to do chaturanga. If chaturanga is too much for you, you can skip it and just come to downward facing dog. We're going to repeat that on the left side now. So lifting the left leg towards the sky. Getting some movement through the ankle. And then bending at the knee, flexing the foot. Slowly open your left hip. Remembering that we would like to keep our shoulder blades on the same playing field, level and even. And on your next inhale, reach that left leg high to the sky again. Exhale, bring your knee to your chest, holding there for just a moment, and then stepping through to low lunge. Get some movement here on the opposite side. So if you'd like to straighten and bend, checking the leg positioning, making sure that we're on separate planes. Your next inhale, lift the left arm high for a twist on this side. Remembering our deep belly breath throughout this practice, return the left arm to the floor. And on your next inhale, rising through the core, reach your arms to the sky for crescent lunge. And feel free to get some movement here in our crescent lunge, remembering that if you feel pain in the lower back, you want to keep a generous bend in your back knee, and that would be your right knee. Rotate the right heel to a 45-degree angle, placing it on the floor. You might need to step it in as well. A narrower stance is typically easier for warrior one. A lot of us are very tight in our hips, and it puts a lot of strain on the hips if you're too wide in your stance. So keeping a bend in the left knee here, arms towards the sky, hips pointed forwards towards the front of your mat. Warrior one, Virabhadrasana 1. On your next exhale, cartwheel the arms, spin the arms open to warrior 2. And surfing in and out here if that serves your body this morning. As you are moving through warrior 2 today, think about equal weight distribution between both feet. Really push through the outer knife edges of both the front and the back foot so that your weight is centered. And as we exhale towards the front of the room, like someone's pulling on that left hand, and you cannot go any further, you're going to tick-tock the arms and reach to the sky for side angle. You can use the left arm here to gently push on the inner left thigh to get a little more opening. Your next inhale, slowly straighten that front leg and come into triangle pose. Remembering to not lock out that left knee. Let's raise back to warrior 2 on an inhale. Exhale here and inhale back to reverse warrior, dropping the right hand lightly to the right thigh, elongating through both side bodies. Exhale, come back to warrior 2. And cartwheel the arms down as we move through chaturanga or nataranga. Stepping back to plank, lowering down to 90 degrees. Inhale through upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, gaze towards your hands and walk or hop towards the top of your mat. Feet will meet hands for a forward fold. Placing the palms on the back of your spine, inhale to halfway lift. Really focusing on the core, raising you up here, staying strong, deep belly breaths. Exhale, return to forward fold. Inhale, big toes to touch, slight sliver of space between the heels, and bend the knees, coming to chair pose. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift those heels for a balancing chair if you can. Beautiful, you guys. Exhale, return the heels to the mat. Shift your weight to the left side, lifting the right foot, crossing the ankle over your left thigh for figure 4 on the right side. Remembering to sit back in your chair. The positioning here is just the same as chair pose with respect to our hip placement, our weight placement. We're just doing it on one leg. Exhale. Inhale, return to standing. Wiggle it out. Get a little break here. Come back to chair pose. And let's do figure 4 on the left side. So lifting the left ankle to cross the right thigh, sitting back in chair. Beautiful. Inhale back to mountain pose. Exhale, hands come through heart center. Return to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step back to plank pose or jump. And let's move through chaturanga, meeting in downward facing dog. We're going to move through that flow again, bringing breath to the movement. So inhale, right leg high. Exhale, open the hip gently. Inhale, right leg high, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to chest. Holding here. And exhale, lunge. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior one. Stepping the feet in if you need. And now I'm opening to warrior two, spinning the back foot to parallel to the side of the mat. Exhale, reach forward. Inhale, tick-tock the arms to side angle. Exhale, straighten the front knee for triangle. Inhale here, holding. And exhale. Inhale, bend the front knee. And reverse warrior here, moving right to reverse warrior. Exhale, cartwheel the arms down and move through chaturanga or nadaranga. Meeting in downward facing dog. Let's take a community breath here. Inhale, hold at the top, and exhale. Your next inhale, lift the left leg towards the sky. Exhale, open the hip. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to chest, holding, getting some core strengthening. Then release the foot to the mat for low lunge. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, spin the back foot to warrior one. So it's at a 45-degree angle. Step in if you need to. Shorten that stance. And exhale to warrior two. And you will likely need to readjust your stance here. Reach towards the front of the room. Tick-tock the arms for side angle. On your next inhale, straighten for triangle. Straighten that front leg, left leg. Inhale here. And exhale, lengthening through both side bodies. Your next inhale, move to reverse warrior. Inhale here. And exhale, cartwheel the arms through chaturanga or nadaranga, and we'll meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, upward facing dog, Adho Mukha Konasana. Exhale, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, look towards the hands, walk or step to the front of your mat for forward fold. Inhale, bring the palms to your hips, halfway lift. The reverse of your spine, wherever is comfortable for you. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, big toes come to touch, light silver add space between the heels. Come into chair pose. Our peak posture for the day is eagle. So Dee is going to demo first the modified version of eagle. So cross your hands to across your chest so that they're grasping opposite shoulders. Then shift the weight into the left foot, cross the right leg over the thigh, and you can rest that toe on the ground if you need balance support. Ultimately, and let me see if I don't know if you can see my feet, but ultimately your feet will wrap completely. If you can see, my right foot is tucked behind my left shin. That is the full leg expression. And then with respect to arms, if you have the flexibility in your shoulder, you can actually wrap the right arm underneath the left, and then you can either keep your opposite backs of hands together, or you can completely intertwine. If your elbow, let's raise our elbows. We'd like to be looking kind of right at our hands. So your elbows should be at a 90-degree coming out from the joint. And again, we're sitting back like we're in chair pose. This is a balancing posture as well. And breathe here. For an added challenge, you can reach your elbows towards your knees for an eagle crunch. Beautiful. Inhale, if you have taken an eagle crunch, come back to regular eagle, release the right leg and come back to standing. Shake that out. Get the blood flowing again. Beautiful job. We're going to do that on the opposite side now. So when you're ready, let's meet back in chair pose. This time we're going to shift the weight to our right foot, lifting the left leg across, reaching our arms across, grasping opposite shoulders. Make sure that you reverse the arm that was on top, or if you're going for the full posture of eagle, wrapping the left elbow underneath the right, grasping palms or backs of hands together. And again, keeping the arms at a 90-degree from the body, so they're not up here, they're not down here, they're just coming straight out from the shoulder blades. And let's take some breaths here. So eagle has a lot of therapeutic benefits. It can help with asthma, it helps with lower back pain, it helps with sciatica, it strengthens the ankles and the calves, it stretches the thighs, hips, shoulders, and upper back. It improves your concentration and obviously improves your balance. If you took an eagle crunch on the opposite side, please do so now. Bringing elbows to meet knees. And return back to regular eagle or Garandasana in Sanskrit. Release the left foot and stretch it out. Nice job, you guys. Inhale the arms high to the sky for mountain pose, Tadasana. Exhale and come through heart center to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, placing palms on the back of your spine. Exhale, forward fold. Toe heel the feet out to actually wider than hip distance. And now we're just going to drop our seats. So we're coming into Malasana, frog pose here. So you can keep your hands on the floor. You can place a block underneath you, and you can do that at any level. So this level, this level, this level, whatever you need for your body. And you can use your elbows to gently push open the knees. This is a great inner thigh stretch. This is one of my favorite poses. And again, focus on shifting the weight to the outer edges of your feet and the heels like we do in Warrior Two. Just take a couple breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Another thing when we're here in frog pose is to make sure that you're actually raising through the pelvis rather than sinking down. That can cause a lot of strain on our labrums and our hips and our inner thighs. So make sure that you're raising up, using the core to hold you up rather than sinking down. And if you have a block that you've used as a prop, remove that and just go ahead and bring the booty to the floor for a seated, wide-legged, so straddling your legs out wide position. Inhale, raise your arms to the sky. And exhale, keeping a straight back, bringing your arms forward and relaxing or releasing them to the floor wherever is safe for your body. They may be right way far out in front of you. They may be right in between your thighs near the pelvis. That is okay. I have very little flexibility here, so I'm pretty much upright. When I'm trying to keep a flat back, I cannot go very far forward. On your next exhale, you can go ahead and round the spine, and this is always a great release. So you can round the spine, which might give you a little added depth here. Inhale, come back to center. Let's bring the legs together. Hug your right knee in, cross it over the left. We're going to take another seated twist here. So you can take your left elbow and cross it on top of your knee if you have that range of movement. If not, you can just gently, and this is, most of us are at this level, just gently grasp the outer right thigh and twist the torso, keeping both sits bones evenly rooted on the ground. You can place the right hand behind you. Inhale. Exhale, come back to center. Let's switch out the legs. So release the right foot, extend it out in front of you. Bring the left leg in, cross it over the right knee. Grasp the outer left thigh with the right hand and/or cross that elbow and twist over to the left. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, come back to center. And slowly lowering down, this is our last little core engagement, one vertebrae at a time. Release to the mat for corpse pose. Beautiful. That was such great intentional movement, you guys. Bring the knees to your chest, hug them in. And we're going to take a reclining eagle pose here. So now I'd like you to cross your right leg over your left, just like we did when we were standing. We're just going to do the eagle, reclining or laying down on the floor. Once you've crossed that right leg, you can drop your knees over to the left-hand side, keeping both shoulders deeply rooted on the ground. If your right shoulder rises, you've gone too far, so come back. You may find it helpful to place a block underneath your legs for support. Sometimes I just use my hand if I don't have a block handy. I can use my hands to ensure that I'm not going too deep. Inhale, come back to center. Hug both knees into chest. Let's cross our left leg over our right for reclined eagle on the left side. And drop your knees over to the right-hand side. Gaze can go left, keeping both shoulders deeply rooted on the ground. Inhale, come back to center. Hug knees into chest one more time. From here, you can either grab the outside of your feet or the inside of your feet. We're going to move into a happy baby pose. Babies, I don't know if you guys have spent a lot of time around babies, but they like to grab their feet when they're laying down. Krista tells this wonderful story about a yoga teacher, and I'm probably going to mess this up, but I'm going to do my best. A yoga teacher that called this happy boyfriend pose, which I think is hysterical. You can rock side to side if that feels good. It's a great gentle massage on the spine. And let's hug your knees back to the chest one more time. I would like you to tense everything in your body. Squeeze every muscle. And as you exhale, release, returning your feet to the mat, relaxing the arms, for final Shavasana. Please gift yourself this minute of time. I will bring you out of Shavasana. Relax the feet, let them flop out. Relax the arms. You may elect to tuck the shoulder blades under to raise your chest a little bit higher towards the sky. Release the neck. Release your jaw. Release the tongue from the roof of your mouth. Focus on your deep belly breaths. Inhaling to the fullest. You wiggle the toes, wiggle the fingers, rock to one side, left or right, whatever feels natural to you. Cradle the head with the lower arm for a fetal position. Using the right arm, push yourself, or whichever side you're on, the upper arm, push yourself up to seated. We'll meet where we started in a cross-legged position. Again, you can choose to bring hands to heart center. You can rest your hands on your knees for grounding. You can flip the palms up if you need energizing. If it feels comfortable for you, relax the gaze, close the eyes. Today, may you take flight and know that all things are possible, including the health of your mind, your body, your spirit. You are beautifully and divinely designed. Your body wants to do well for you, to heal, to be strong. Sometimes it takes a great deal of time to figure it out. Sometimes the road to healing is very difficult, physically and emotionally. And you might feel like giving up. That's the moment that you breathe, and then you breathe again. It's in these quiet spaces that you connect to your heart, you find peace in any moment, and know that you have it in you to continue the journey, no matter how difficult the road may be. Bringing the hands to third eye center. Thank you for being here this morning. What a great way to start your weekend. Namaste.